I'm Patrick. This is from the Ask Patrick series, where I answer questions or queries regarding CAT preparation from various sources. Now, this question is by Anshuman Yadav. The question is that I get bored while reading. What should I do? I mean, reading, we know, is one of the most important aspect about, you know, the whole CAT. I mean, definitely for the verbal section, but definitely the whole CAT paper. Because reading not only helps in your DILR and Quant to understand it better, definitely it helps you in RC as well. And what is more important, that if you really want to improve your reading or your scores, you should be interested in your reading. You can't just get bored while reading. Remember that. So how do you tackle this fact that you get bored while reading? Two ways while reading. Okay. If you really are getting bored while reading something which is very commonplace, pick up something which you like reading and get interested in it. At least start with that. I mean, at least for next 15-20 days, okay, pick up something which you love reading. I mean, I do that. When I get bored of something, I pick up some novel, something I like, okay, and I start reading. Maybe a Sherlock Holmes, maybe Agatha Christie, maybe a P.G. Wodehouse, maybe a general Harry Potter, or some kid books, and start reading just to develop that interest of reading. Keenness and interest in reading is very, very important. So do that. And that should also be a part of your reading. I mean, your reading should also involve things that you like reading, because that will tell you how to go about reading with interest. That is one definite part of it. Yes, but the normal articles also, when you read, try generating interest. And one way to generate interest is, when you read, try to keep on questioning the author regarding his viewpoints versus your viewpoints. So when you read, you know what your viewpoints are, and you try to figure out, is the author thinking in the same way or is he thinking in a different way? I mean, are you going in a parallel line or in a way different? I remember just reading an article, okay, some time back, and it was not a very interesting article. Literature, which not of my interest, and the person was a literature professor and talking about something on his colleague, literary people, how do they teach and what they should do while teaching. So it was going, initially it was just going Greek. I couldn't understand what was happening. But try to figure out, how does it resemble me in terms of what is that person saying. I realized that person is talking about teaching. So I teach. Okay. Then he talks about, I realized somewhere that, if you're allowed to teach versus not liking to teach. And that is with contextual literature. And he gives a lot of works on, literature and other stuff like that. So I thought, let me not get into the details of it. Let me just focus on what I understand, what I'm interested in, and try to figure out, do I understand what he says? Do I agree with him or not? Okay. And as when I read, I realize that I do agree with what he says. I realize I do agree with saying that you need to love to teach in order to, help and teach well. That's one aspect. But that was not his central point. His central point was, if you want people to love literature, okay, then you should teach them how to love literature instead of being critical about literature. And that person was saying that people are more or less critical of literature nowadays. What I'm trying to do is, I picked up some part of the topic which I could relate to, try to understand it, and then try to generalize it to the whole passage in terms of what else you will say. The moment you get a handle of some part of the topic, it becomes easier to understand and easier to understand the context of it. Second, and one more important aspect about the topic whenever you read is, the main points are there in the last few para or first few para. In my case, it was there in the last few para which you talked about. So when I started reading the last couple of paras properly and nicely, I did understand the overall context, what it was saying. I didn't understand the details, but I did understand the overall aspect. And that's what is important as far as RC goes. So try, generate interest in reading. One way, as I said, is get a habit of reading something that you like. And second way is to try to keep on questioning whenever you read. Question in terms of your thoughts are similar to what the author is trying to say. And that should help. I hope try doing this. I'm sure it will help you with regards to your love for reading. Thank you.